Alright, you guys, today I'm going to be doing some money wing nails, and I'm just going to dive straight into step number 5, which requires your easy tape and some scissors. So I just want to show you how realistic this practice hand looks compared to my hand. So I've been using my hand as a practice hand, and I'm really excited to use this practice hand. So what I'm going to be doing is just grabbing a small amount of tape and just pressing it onto the natural nail of the practice hand, and then just cutting that piece off. Then I'm just going to gently press on that tape so it could stick to the natural nail. And after that, I'm just going to be grabbing a pair of tweezers to kind of just pull that paper off and make sure that adhesive sticks to the natural nail of the practice hand. Alright, you guys, make sure when you put your tape that you only put a small amount on it and you don't cover the entire whole nail bed. And then make sure you also put it sideways. So now I am grabbing my nail tips, and I put P for pinky. I wrote down the numbers that fit to each finger because it's easier that way. And I put a number 1 next to it because this hand requires you to put 2 nail tips just so it can, have a good grip onto those nails. And then you are going to put it in backwards into the cuticle pocket. So after that, you are going to just press it firmly and kind of just hold it firmly. Make sure that adhesive sticks to that nail tip. Then after that, I'm going to be doing the same thing to the rest of the nails. I'm just going to cut a small portion of that tape and then just kind of press onto that piece of tape so that adhesive could stick to the natural nail, and then just pull that paper out with my tweezers. And then I'm just going to add my ring finger, which is number 7, and a size up because this is the second set of nail tips. And then I'm just going to put it in backwards and then kind of just slide it into the cuticle pocket gently. And now I'm just going to press on that tightly so that adhesive can stick to the nail tip. Alright, so this is where the real practice begins. I'm just grabbing my e-file, and I'm grabbing my sanding band and filing around the cuticle area very gently. You have to be very careful. I'm trying not to scratch my practice hand, so I'm being very careful. And I'm just going to take the shine away from the natural nail. Alright, you guys, so after I'm all done removing the shine, I'm just going to use some alcohol to kind of remove that debris. And now I'm just going to be using these Honey Fan extra long coffin nails that I love. And I'm also going to be using their nail glue, and I really love their website. So now I'm just going to add a single drop of nail glue on top of that natural nail. And then after that, I'm going to grab my nail tips that fit from sidewall to sidewall and stick it right on top. And then I'm going to be doing the same thing to the other nails, and you can either add a drop or just kind of just smear it all over the end of the nail bed, and then just add your nail tip. And this finger moved very gently and smooth. Now I'm just grabbing my e-file and then just filing off that nail tip so it could blend in with the natural nail. And I'm going to be using this Kiara Sky monomer with my Honey Fan size 16 Kolinsky acrylic brush. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get set up. And I'm also going to be using this Snow White acrylic, which is really white. Alright, you guys, so I'm going to be going through this video very quickly. I gotta make sure I have my brush nice and clean. After that, I'm just going to be using a medium bead and kind of just lay it like in the middle of the end of the nail tip, and then I'm just going to very gently pat it down with the tip of the acrylic brush. And once I feel that my acrylic brush is getting kind of sticky, I gotta go ahead and clean it off, and then I get a little bit of monomer into the brush to kind of just wipe it, bring the acrylic down nice and smooth. Once I feel that my acrylic is drying, I clean my brush up again, and then I add a little bit of monomer to my brush and then kind of just wipe it downward slowly and very gently so I don't wipe too much acrylic off. And then I'm going to grab another small amount of acrylic to kind of just lay it right on the tip. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that small bead and then just put it right on the tip. And I'm going to brush it upwards very gently with the tip of my acrylic brush. And then once I blend that in with the first bead, then I'm going to go ahead and then just kind of mix everything in. And I got to make sure I don't have lumps or bumps. So once I have that nice and clean, I'm going to go ahead and add another bead right on top of the first bead, and I'm going to be using a medium bead for that. And I got to make sure that my bead is not too dry or too wet. Like I said, once I feel that my bead is getting kind of dry and it's not like flowing like I want it, I just add a little more monomer to my brush to kind of just bring down the acrylic. And then once like I feel that my brush is getting dirty or sticky, you can feel it, I wipe that off on the paper towel and then just grab a little bit of monomer to kind of just, you know, move my acrylic around. So now I'm just grabbing another medium bead and kind of placing it a hair length away from the cuticle area. And then I'm just going to gently pat it down. And then I'm just going to push it up gently and then just kind of just bring it down with the tip of my acrylic brush. And I'm also trying to do it gently in a quickly manner so my acrylic won't dry. Then after I feel comfortable with how I left my nail, I gotta make sure there's no lumps or bumps. And if I see that I need more acrylic on certain areas, then I go ahead and just add small amounts of acrylic. Since I feel that I only need a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and add a small bead. And I gotta make sure it's not too dry so it won't, so you won't be able to see a patch. So I'm grabbing a small bead and it's not too dry, and I'm just kind of mixing it in with all that acrylic, making sure everything's nice and even. And then of course I gotta clean my brush so I won't drag too much acrylic off of the nail. Alright, then after that I'm gonna go ahead and just look at it from side to side, make sure everything's nice and neat. And if I feel like I need more acrylic, then I will just add a small bead and then kind of just patting it down, moving it around. And then once I feel that it's a good thickness, then I kind of just brush it downwards very gently. Alright, you guys, now I'm going to grab my hand file and file my sidewalls, and I gotta make sure I file this evenly. And you guys, this is a lot easier than doing it with your own hand. I did learn a lot from practicing with my own hand, but of course it is a lot easier on a practice hand. So I'm just grabbing my hand file and just filing the sidewalls and under the nail. And so wherever you want to add pressure to the nail is where you're going to file the most. So if you feel like if you're doing coffin nails, then you might want to press on the bottom a little more. So you want to add more pressure to the end than the top of your nails, because where you add pressure is where you're going to file the most. And now I'm just grabbing my extra fine drill bit that I think this is a Melody Susie, and this is one of my favorite drill bits, along with the 5-in-1 knot polish. The only difference is that I feel that with the 5-in-1 knot polish, I feel like that is just a little more aggressive. And with this safety bit, I find it hard to clean around the cuticle area. So that's the only thing I don't like about this drill bit. But other than that, this one leaves your acrylic super smooth and nice and clean. You don't see any scratches at the end. So yeah, you guys, after I'm done cleaning around my cuticle area, I go ahead and clean around the nail beds. Then I start filing vertically, and I go from there, and I look at my nail from side to side, and wherever I see lumps or bumps, I file. And after that, I'm gonna go ahead and reshape my nails. And yeah, you guys, just make sure you leave everything nice and even. Look at your nails from side to side and up and down. So now I am just going to reshape, buff, and now I am just turning the hand like and what they say, the client's perspective. And I'm gonna go ahead and file the tip of the nails nice and straight. And again, so far this hand hasn't given me any type of trouble. I'm able to move it around. You've seen how I move it around. It's heavy, so it won't be flying around when you grab the finger. Alright, you guys, so now that everything's nice and ready, I went ahead and cleaned my nails. I went ahead and washed it, then kind of just dry that up, and now I grab my money, and I am just grabbing a piece to see where I want to place it, because I'm going to glue the money onto these nails. I've done money nails a couple of times, and I find that this is probably going to be the best and easiest and fastest way to do it. So I am just going to firmly hold the money tight. Make sure you don't move it out of place when you cut it, and make sure that where you are cutting it, that's where you're going to glue your money onto the nail. Because if you accidentally glue it a little bit more downwards than where you cut it, then you'll have that money hanging from the sides, and you do not want that, because then it'll look kind of weird. Your money is you're gonna be able to see the money lifting, so you do not want that. So make sure you cut it nice and evenly, and you hold on to that money tight. I have tried encapsulating the money, and I just find it kind of harder that way, and it's like a lot messier. So you guys, this is a lot easier, faster, and cleaner. So now after I'm done doing that, I'm going to be grabbing my nail glue, and I'm using Honey Fan's nail glue, which works as good as the KDS glue. Alright, so I'm just going to open that up and then just place a good fair amount on the money. You don't want to overdo it, because then you'll have glue all over the nail and it'll look messy, and you want to try to keep it as clean as possible, and make sure you add glue around all the corners. Alright, so now once you're done doing that, you just stick it directly where you first cut the money, and make sure you hold on to those corners tightly. Press onto the nail, and you got to be super careful, because sometimes your finger can stick to that paper or onto your nail, because the nail glue is super effective and it dries super fast. So make sure you hold on to all the corners, just so you can have that money nice and glued onto the nail. Alright, and now I'm just kind of pressing the money onto the nail with my finger to make sure that everything is nice and glued. And now I am just going to do the same thing to the rest of my nails, but I am just quickly going to show you how I did the French money on the nails. So I am just basically grabbing a permanent marker and just placing a dot where I want to cut to give it that French look. So I'm just gonna cut it in that way. Now I'm just going to grab my scissors and then just cut where I lay those dots. Alright, so make sure you follow those marks and you don't overdo it, because then you would have to redo the whole thing, and it's just better not to cut more than you need, because then would have to cut another dollar bill, a fake dollar bill. And now I realize that that's too not as curved as I want it, or deep, so I'm just going to perfect that. Alright, so now that I'm comfortable with my results, I'm grabbing my honey fan nail glue and just placing a fair amount on the money wherever I want to stick the money to. I'm placing that all around to cover each corner, and then I'm just going to firmly press it onto the nail, and make sure you put it exactly where you are, wherever you made those cuts, because then you would have to just be super messy. Make sure you press onto that money so it can stick right and correctly. So now I am just going to cut the sides, and now I am just grabbing my top coat, and then I am just going to brush it onto the nail, and then this is going to give it like a glossy look, because this is a glossy top coat. Then after I am done with that, I am going to cure it for about 2 minutes. I always cure it about 2 minutes because I always want to double check that it's super dry. So yeah, you guys, after I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and start on my wings. Now that I have this ready and out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and start on my wings. And now I am just going to show you how I outlined the wings, and that is the part where I outline it with a permanent marker. So you want to do it on the other side where you're going to lay your acrylic. It's going to be on the other side, because you don't want to get that marker all over this white acrylic. So now I am just grabbing like medium beads and kind of just placing it and fill up that wing. And my beads are not too wet or too dry, they're just like perfect. And I am just gently going to pat onto that acrylic, kind of to straighten that out. And then that's how I'm going to be doing it, you guys, getting like medium beads and then just kind of cover all that. Alright, so now I am just going to be grabbing another medium bead, and make sure that your bead is not too wet and it's more on the drier side, and then you'll be able to control it more, and it is a lot easier to just have it more on the dry side. That way you're able to control it and push it around. If it's trying to like slide off, then you have enough time to kind of just put it back inside the line, and then just kind of if it's getting a little dry, you can always add a little monomer to your brush, dip that brush into the monomer, and then just kind of move it around and shape it up. I really recommend that if you're a beginner, you start trying different things and going the extra mile, because that's going to help you a lot. Like, I did a lot of experiments in the beginning, and then that really did help me a lot. Don't be afraid, it's just nails. I mean, anybody can do it. So yeah, you guys, don't give up. It is confusing in the beginning, especially if you're a self-taught, but you'll get there. So on the sides, I just want to show you how I did it. I just grabbed like small beads, not too wet again, and then just place it right there. It was that easy, you guys. This is my 3rd time doing wings. You know what, let me correct that. I think 4 times. I did mess up a lot in the beginning, but that's why I'm here to show you guys that I'm trying to warn you on the do's and don'ts. So I'm grabbing small beads and then just placing it right there. And also, like, make sure that if you want like thick wings, then you grab a super thick bead, and when you first place your first bead, because on my first wing I did do it like 2 times, and it was just kind of confusing, and I had to like file more. So now that I've pulled my wing that easy, you guys, I use this divider, like school dividers, and it worked perfectly. The wing came right off. Now I am just grabbing this e-file and kind of just shaping that up. You got to be super careful, you guys, because if you over file this, then everything would be for nothing. Like, you got to make sure you don't mess this up. Make sure that you have this e-file on the lowest, because you don't want to overfile. And now I'm going to cut this money in a confetti type of way, because I'm going to place some glue on my wings, and then just add the money right where I laid the dots. And I'm just grabbing it with this rhinestone picker. And also make sure that the money is also nice and flat, because you do not want your money to be sticking out. Alright, you guys, now that I'm all done placing my money, I am going to add a fair amount of top gel on this wing, and I basically just fill up all the sides nice and fairly and stick it in the UV lamp for about 2 minutes. Then I turned it around and did the other side, and now that it's nice and shiny, make sure you do not miss any corners. I decided that I wanted to add some, I think these are called like glitter sprinkles glitter sprinkles, something like that. So now I am just going to use the same top gel, and I'm just going to place a good fair amount on it, on the wing, and then I'm just going to gently like sprinkle some of those little shiny sprinkly thingies onto the wing. And then if I see that sometimes those little glittery things can like be all over the place, and you kind of just want to fix it with your finger and kind of move it around. Then after I am comfortable with the look, I am going to stick it into the UV lamp for another like 60 seconds and then do the rest. Now that I am ready, I am going to glue my wings to the pinky and the index finger, and I've done it with acrylic before, but I find this way a lot easier and cleaner and faster. So I am not gonna glue it with acrylic, because you are able to glue it with acrylic, but I am just using this Valentino rhinestone gel instead. And this gel works super good. You gotta just be super careful, because you gotta leave it as clean as possible, and you don't want that thickness, because when you dry it, it's super thick, and if you don't dry it right, or if you don't smear it right, you're able to see that little lump of white clear gel. So make sure that you leave it as clean as possible. That I'm just going to cure it with this Macart UV lamp that I got from a polygel kit, and this came in handy, you guys. So now that I am comfortable with that, you got to make sure also that you dry it from the back, and then you add glue in the back, you guys, and that looks super good. This rhinestone glue works super good, you guys, and look at the results, you guys. I hope you guys like my video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and share. I would really appreciate it if you guys share my video. And yeah, you guys, look at that. I really enjoy doing these type of nails. Let me know if you're still here, or let me know if you have an idea for me to do. I love ideas and doing these type of nails. They're super fun. I've learned so much doing stuff like this.